back again. Normal-ish time. Normal time nowadays, at the very least. I'll be back. We're going to continue some, The Great Ace Attorney now. After the last case, which I really didn't like, this case is definitely turning out to be one of my favorites so far. Mostly because we're not doing the thing where the jury instantly says that we're guilty and makes me waste a bunch of time. So far that hasn't happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen, because the way that this case is going, it's not trying to tell if he's like a murderer or not. It's just trying to say if it was an accident, or if, if he, didn't check everything properly, I guess. Like, it's trying to not to determine whether he killed the person, but whether it was an accident or not. So maybe that's why they weren't doing it. Or maybe they realized that gimmick sucks and they stopped using it. I don't know, but I'm just kind of glad that that gimmick is gone. They used it way too much and it made the case unfun. However, we're just going to pop right back into it and pick up where, if I remember the case properly, which I'm pretty sure I do, Dr. Hairbrain was trying to make a device that would teleport a person from one place to another. The device happened to blow up, and the dead body of the person who was supposed to be transported was found on top of the glass tower. Well, as it turns out, he didn't die from the teleporter malfunction. He died from being shot in the heart, or at least stabbed in the heart with the screwdriver, which turned out to be the cause of death. Also, it turns out that his body was still in a cage even after it was dropped, and that there was a balloon nearby that was popped at the time of the explosion that happened on the teleportation device. There was also an explosion in the air. Turned out that explosion was a balloon being popped, and from a picture taken by a very unruly German child, it turns out that that balloon was popped by a flaming crossbow bolt fired from a crossbow we found at the scene, because whoever shot it fucking left it there, I guess. So now we are here to... there's also a wax museum, which is Chekhov's wax museum, that we have to catch up on, because eventually that's going to be brought back, where either the person in the cage, which is my assumption, was a wax dummy that, when the electricity was originally poured through the teleportation device, melted the wax statue, and the real person was swapped out, because the builder of the invention was not the scientist who thought up of the possibility of the thesis of teleporting. It was built by a different engineer. That engineer turns out to be a flim-flam con man of a magician who was working for the victim, and the victim is a very high up crime boss who the assumption is he was trying to get a very fantastical idea patented by the doctor here, so they could get a grant from the British government, which would pay them a lot of money. Then, because they faked the practical experiment, that it would actually, people would see it and go, oh wow, this is so amazing, of course we have to fund it, even though teleporting isn't real. And if it turned out where the doctor couldn't get it to work again, they would just blame the scientists for rigging a fake machine, and he would get off scot-free, even though he was the original financier and was the one who set him up. So assumably Dr. Hairbrain was supposed to be a fall man for defrauding the government, but we shall see. Oh, and Miss Sasato has shown back up. She has come from Japan since the first tutorial trial of this game, and now she's actually back here in Japan again, which also was kind of a nice change, not having somebody as our aide, because we didn't have another voice I had to keep reading that kept having to chime in on every piece of evidence or after every round of things. So it was kind of nice not having that. Like, it turns out a lot of Ace Attorney or visual novel games are actually a bit more fun when you cut out a lot of the fucking chatter. When you actually shorten it and you cut out the in-between middle stuff, it actually ends up being a bit more engaging. Anyway, let me, is this loose? No, it's good, Because it's also been a really nice day today. It's like 66 degrees and sunny. You got the windows open, so you got some nice sea air coming in. It's very nice. Anyway, back to the game. Mr. Hodo. Yeah? I'm sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. I trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean? About what he was really constructing? Naturally! That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis. Of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So, we must do as much investigating as we can when the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. I'm so sorry for arriving late in the morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me on the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to a more traditional displays of emotion in the future. Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so he didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh? Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all the conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait. Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued. Oh, well, that's it. 11-minute stream. All right, see you guys tomorrow. October, 2:41 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultation. Oh, this room. It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. And it's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true. So it's your father, all right, Susie? What happened? My father? Yeah, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why he went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying because of the exposition telegram that you got that I'm giving you right now. He fell ill, very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised that you'd learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident that I have been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic... Wait, that thing with the acronym they still haven't let in the court yet? That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh? You must tell us. You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan. Yes, of course, I shall. And there's one other thing. something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma. I know. I'll tell you all that I can. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed back in Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh yeah. For the murder of Jezalile Brett. Oh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing. I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Runo? Yeah, sure, I suppose. I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think a mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Mr. Sato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter that it had something to do with that convict's loot we found at Mr. Natsume's lodgings? That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in that report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie. That's a very meaningful look Sasato's given Iris there. Uh-oh. By the way, your father's dead. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium, too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency Judge Shishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours, when you were accused of murder. Ah, yeah, I try not to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over the trial. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway, as Father invited us to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General. The most senior position in British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally then? I wonder. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech about this very subject only yesterday. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to it much. How trying for you. Jezalile Brett. The woman whose unforgettable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Jezalile Brett. That's a name I won't forget as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Jezalile Brett didn't actually exist. Didn't exist? But how can that be?
It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin, and she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front.
A front? Who on earth could she be then?
Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. She's a no-shin. What other memes could that be? She's Shin Agami. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery.
But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to?
I'm afraid I don't really know. The only thing we could be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand.
And now she's been killed. While all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. And the British government was doing everything they can to protect her, too.
I'm afraid so.
A. Shin. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? I don't remember. Unless it was in a, unless it was in one of Iris's books. But I don't remember if there was a character with that name. It's been a while. This has been going on for like 3 weeks. I don't remember some of the names.
After my friend Ray's trial, right? It is right. After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange.
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. You're not a visiting student's fate. Nobody in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know what the guy ever made it to England. That he died on that steamship. And that he'll never.
Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama.
And what did you learn?
After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed on with care to the consultant staff there.
Yeah, because he's actually what's-his-name's fucking apprentice. He's the vampire's apprentice. Yeah, I know. I already figured that one out. Should have been.
Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared.
What? Kazuma's body vanished?
Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there.
Did Professor Mikotoba know about this?
Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak.
I just don't know what to believe. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Burdia were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive?
Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's too much to bear.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's part of it.
And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
You're right. Yeah, well, he's been very dodgy on everything around this, so... So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean Mr. Sholmes had lied to us.
But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing.
I don't think so, Ira, but you know what? I suppose that's true.
The idea that he might still be alive somewhere, it wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me.
Oh, Mrs. Sato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's a Sato-san we're talking about after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now.
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it, apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you came to know it.
Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time.
Oh!
I'm only sorry I had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was clearing Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. What?
My Baskerville story?
Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. But Father came in and... Sasato! Sasato, what are you doing?
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers? Those are the unpublished prints about Spider-Man I haven't put in yet. How dare you look at them? Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label. That's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan?
I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions. And there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you.
So when are we telling her father's dead?
Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me that...
Although it would have been funny if the last thing out of Sasato's mouth before going on the boat and leaving was,
By the way, Iris, your father's dead. Bye!
and then left Sholmes and Sholmes and Ryunosuke to be sitting there being like,
So, that's a terrible joke, Susie.
it's not a joke, Iris. He really is dead. What? Where? Ah, fuck, goddamn you. It would have been the most devious Sasato takedown in the series.
And Iris has told me a lot.
Oh, fuck. So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Sasato. I expect nothing less, to be honest.
I would think our first port of call should be to investigate Mr. Drever, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts, for the sound of it. Well known in the field of science and magic.
Then, we need to go and arrest him.
Well, yes, you must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police. Or a great detective.
Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong.
Do you know, I honestly thought I might never have the opportunity to return to Great Britain. And certainly not so soon.
It's funny. For the past 6 months, I haven't been able to work in court. Meanwhile, you've been raising a storm in the Supreme Court of Judicature back in Japan.
Please, Mr. Naruhodo, I may have been dressed as a man, but it was a very reserved performance.
So, what your father said in his letter about a Ryotaro takedown is reserved?
Well, anyway, I'm back here in this great capital now, and ready to assist you again in any way I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright, we can't go to the prosecutor's office, though. Let's see. Is Sholmes hanging about here? Nope. Alright, no bonus yapping from that, then. Uh-oh. 23rd October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart?
I wonder. I've never seen her before.
Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand. And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result.
Oh. You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment?
Sham science is being demonstrated at London's Great Exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish. And now, politicians are scrabbling to respond.
You foolish, foolish, foolish lawyer.
Lord Van Zeek is in the Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing.
Oh dear, I, didn't mean to cause any trouble.
None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. This special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time.
It's scrap metal now, is it?
Until later then, Lord Strongheart.
Yes, thank you, Genova. You can go back to raising your Sephiroth now.
Who was that?
That was Dr. Courtney Scythe, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team handling of the case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact.
Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman.
Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to re-evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly, instead of me just taking the 5 seconds of telling you. You can find her in the forensics laboratory.
Ah, right.
Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time.
So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. Who exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before?
The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now. Unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intended to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensic division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean?
For too long, these scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. But London scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell. I intend to see it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future.
Look at those eyes. He means every word.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensic division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikitoba.
Oh, yes, my lord?
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikitoba, I mean?
It was many years ago now, but yes. I remember Dr. Mikitoba very well.
Oh.
If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born. So, yes, 16 years ago, in fact.
Mikitoba was a young practitioner of the forensic science, and Jakogu accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. But not anymore, fuck them. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikitoba studied forensic as one of the London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths cross regularly. But I've no doubt that they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikitoba was there studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?
I lived with my grandmother all those years.
So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years?
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh.
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
What do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something was going on at the time. I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zieks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right?
You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper.
What? Why?
When his brother, Clint Van Zieks, was murdered, it was just after a young Barak had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barak Van Zieks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word. So, Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper? It's the ghost of his brother?
Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles.
Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart.
Go ahead.
It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like permission to examine the remains, if possible.
Are you well versed in science, then?
Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject until recently.
Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Seiss' team of forensic experts will be there on their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing.
Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you are so busy, my lord.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand.
The location's been added. Alright, let's go talk to Hairbrain a little bit more. Let's get him out of the way before we get to the actual interesting stuff. What's he doing?
He's... oh my. The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations.
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt.
Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady?
My name is Sasato Mikitoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I met a refined young woman like you sooner, none of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in the court this morning.
No. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor Hairbrain, what have you been working on in your cell?
Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had at hand.
Oh, is that some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe?
No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How that I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. I found I could represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers and inhibitions for simultaneous equations.
Alright, you're not a scientist, dude. You need to stop pretending now. You can take off the glasses and the wig. You're not a scientist here. I think you're making this all up at this point.
Really?
Well, I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see.
No, you don't have to. He's dead. And it was from a criminal organization, so nobody gives a fuck.
So it's going to be a new special publication for the next month. Part 1, an odd birth, an odd upbringing.
You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case?
Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled, by a pair of them. By Asmund and by that aloof engineer Drebber.
We're not gonna have to sit through the explanation of all these equations, are we? Oops.
Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asmund, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even.
I'm sorry if it's come to this. There was really no other way.
No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something.
Oh?
If you done something wrong without knowing it, you're still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Barack did. He believed in my hypothesis.
Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case.
No. Barack wouldn't do something like that. Well, I'm sure he genuinely believed it.
Did he?
Well, I think he understands now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution at my trial, I mean. Well, after the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even.
I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there.
So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, it was anyone other than Barack. I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barack insisted that I was a proper man of science from the start to finish.
You don't think...
That's why he...
Well, I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it.
And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea?
Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start?
I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes.
When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathic.
But in reality, he was a mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems.
I still can't believe it.
As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually.
But the scale of it, it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception.
All young scientists are full of hope about their big burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all that, only to be taken for a complete fool, it's too rotten to believe.
It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find these responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asmund is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. We gotta kill him too. I mean, we gotta arrest him and prove it wasn't your fault, Professor. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler?
It was about a year ago when Mr. Asmund was brought Drebber to meet me at the laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine.
But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist.
No, he definitely wasn't an illusionist.
What do you mean?
He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in a conversation.
I see.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us to his whereabouts?
Well, I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the kinesis machine, nothing else.
Huh.
Although, just once, I did visit his workshop.
What workshop?
Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine.
Why didn't you mention that before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. So, you've been to Drebber's place of work then?
Yes, just what to understand. That was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see.
Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. Well, there's a good chance we might find Drebber there.
Well, yes, definitely. Well, I'm sure, as in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm sorry.
I was more than half expecting that.
You see, I was blindfolded at the carriage the entire way there.
Bro. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then.
The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used there was the best, the special French machine oil that is impossible to obtain in Britain. Oh, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead.
What do you think, Mrs. Sato? Order the machine for your next birthday?
I've never used that kind of perfume, Mr. Naruto, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example?
That man was clearly very cautious, Mrs. Sato. I'm sure dared.
Oh! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look.
What?
Let me see that.
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No? Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. But we can at least get skin prints from it, I guess. They allowed it in the last trial, might as well allow it here. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's card has been entered into the court record. Also for matching handwriting, I guess. Also, now we turn it to the back and find the secret clue. Yep, there we go. This dark smudge here.
I think perhaps it's machine oil. You mean the very special one that you can only get imported from France? Ah, let's go ask the importers where this oil is going, and we'll find right out. I think it might be machine oil.
Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about that oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it's specifically imported, very high quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
Yes, that's right. But more importantly, if that's the fragrant more than its finest perfume. So excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry. I expect that's just because there's been such a tiny amount on here. There you go, the details of Drebber's card. E. Drebber, engineer. With a $sign and a plus. Well, I guess it's supposed to be a minus and a plus, but I'm going to say that's $1. Oh, look, see, they even have the, see, it's right. See, this is the boss, and this is where negative stacks, and this is where positive stacks. This is, he must be an axe raider, I guess. Alright, let's go to the experimentation stage now. Where's October, the Great Exhibition Grounds? Go to the Crystal Tower.
I had no idea there were so many people in the world.
I know what you mean. It's really packed here today.
It feels as though it's taken just 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds at this point.
Has it? I shut my brain down, so I didn't really notice, to be honest.
Gosh, I do wish I had an absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Hodo. Oh, there you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long.
Oh, wait, damn. I went to Gina instead. Oh, Inspector Gregson. I see you're hard at work as usual.
Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met.
What's with that, all the ceremony? We just saw each other in the court this morning.
Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman so loyally at your side.
Oh. Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice.
He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. And you've probably guessed that we're hoping to investigate the scene one more time?
Right. Well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi, get over here, Gina.
She seems to be busy playing with the puppy, probably giving it a traditional East End training.
Gina? She's a police officer now.
Amazing, isn't it?
He's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. She's got the dedication bug, if you ask me. Or detection bug, if you ask me. Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely.
What do you mean?
I'm being transferred in time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really?
That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? I'll come see how you're getting along.
Not likely. But you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is.
To France?
I'll be working in Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley.
But France? That's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there? Exactly. Thaddeus is French now. Nailed it, Fire.
That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. I don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the key with me when I go.
What? You're taking Gina to Paris?
Well, I can't leave her in London. Who knows what will become of her?
I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping her hands into people's pockets and purses.
I don't think she's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper.
Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it?
Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me?
No, of course not.
I've got to keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
Oi! Did you just call me a bloomin' diving diva again?
Oh, you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put them to the capable detective diva here.
Alright, you're the boss. Inspector Lestrade in charge now.
I suppose I better keep my word not to mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you've got a new dog, have you?
Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable.
Yeah, the dog does seem lovely. But it's not the so lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. Investigating the scene turned into investigating the scene. Oh boy. Gina, we were actually hoping that you could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If that's around here, you can do it what you like.
Oh, that's alright, is it?
I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here.
Ah, yes, Toby.
The machine that exploded must be atop those stairs, I presume. I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Sorry, you can't go up there, Susie. Oh? It's like I told Odo yesterday. Even if I ain't allowing you to wreck. What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The special
Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Is that what you're thinking of?
That's the one. That's why only them are allowed to investigate it. What they are called again? Their friends stick something.
The Forensic Investigation Team? Is that what you're thinking of?
That's the one, yeah. But isn't the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with you. But you're supposed to get permission from the bigwig or something as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strain something?
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina.
I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps?
That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time of something.
Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart.
Eh? You what? You met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Cove's office and came back snivelling.
Tragic.
Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene, as long as we touch nothing.
Oh yeah?
Honestly.
Alright then, go ahead. But if that turns out that you're lying, I'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this above board, are you?
I'm sure everything will be fine.
That really would be tragic.
Alright then. Them's the stairs. Off you go.
Oh, thank you, Gina.
It was great, weren't it? If I had a laugh. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying about if I'd be found out.
You did keep an awful lot of secrets in your previous court appearances, didn't you?
Yeah, and all those made things harder for me every single time and all.
I'm just doing my job, Gina.
But watching someone else get it all in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was all amazing when you showed that doggy professor's dodgy experiment with the total fix.
The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client.
Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though.
It's the boss I feel sorry for. Set off to do the impossible.
What do you mean?
He's supposed to arrest that other cove, ain't he? And in the time tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again?
Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber.
That's the one, yeah.
So the police are looking for the mysterious man with the black monocle. As I guess they would be.
It's putting too much to the boss if you ask me. It says he's giving him a gut ache.
Oh dear, but I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food.
So Scotland Yard is trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they had any luck.
He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it.
Sorry? Who?
You know, that scowling Reaper who's always glugging down glasses of that blood or red punk.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks.
He's always at it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always got scowling in mind. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes.
She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee? The way I see it. If the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both.
I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Well, we put that one to bed.
Anyway, the point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on fiddling and fishy engineer. But there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they all stuck.
There's nothing that can lead us to a Drebber at all? Where'd you find that little mutt then, Gina?
Oi, don't be so flaming rude, Oro.
Slight overreaction, don't you think?
He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's, how'd you put it? Oh yeah, a bona fide detective.
Sorry?
I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby for you.
Also, aww. Good dog. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he?
Oh, he's a police dog, is he?
The police recruit dogs now?
I've heard that they've already been using officially in Germany as part of their policing. They're also used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all.
I have a fairly good sense of smell myself, as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't.
Why are you sniffing? Why are you sniffing underwear? What? Why was that a sentence they put in the game? What the fuck?
Ah, that's nothing compared to this little fellow, Oro.
Oh, really?
According to what the boss said. Once Tubby here has got a good whiff of your drawers, he could chase that scent from the other side of the world.
What? The other side of the world? You mean he can swim?
Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have misunderstood the point, by rather a wide margin.
I can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill.
I'm telling you, Odo, it's been more like the dogs doing their bit for the police in the future. Yes, I agree. Right? One of these days they'll be barking orders at us, not the other way around.
I've seen that episode in Rick and Morty.
Oh dear. Sorry, Gina. I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever you think about Toby here is Britain's first police dog. Found him down in the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out in the street.
There you go. I knew she lifted him from somewhere.
Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and animals.
Alright, so my question is, if I present with the card, will Toby get the smell? About this, Gina.
Yeah, I'm still learning me letters at the moment. I only know A to E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble. Ah, actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? There's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is a very high quality French machine oil.
Yeah. I agree, Sternpike. The moment Miss Sato comes back in, Ryunosuke just becomes dumber. When she wasn't there, he was perfectly adequate at doing everything, and now it's like, oh, well, time to go to making him the butt of the joke again. It's doing, I know it's a common comedy bit where you've got the straight man and then you've got the kind of idiot or whatever the fuck that's called, the fool and the straight man, whatever the hell that's the dynamic is called. It is kind of weird that they slide into that every once in a while, where like Naruhodo takes that role each time while Sasato stays the straight man. But
that's a very particular scent, apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiff then. You sure? I don't smell nothing.
no, what do you mean you should smell it?
All right. You mean Toby?
His sense of smell is so good he can track people over oceans, can't he?
Professor Harebrain informs us that the oil is unique to Mr. Drebber's workshop.
Sniff, sniff, sniff. Sniff, sniff, sniff. I think he's picked up the scent.
So you mean, if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy cove's workshop? That's right. That's exactly what we're hoping. Alright then. I'll give it a go. I'll just butter that.
What? Wait, when did you... What's the pickpocket?
If I can lead everyone to the Drebber's workshop, I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll be promoted.
Poor Gregson.
Right then, Odo. Leave it to me.
Sorry?
We're going to get going after that dodgy engineer cove at this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty at all times.
I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get going with our investigation as well, Gina.
Oh, right. Oh well, never mind. I ain't gonna be with. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss.
Poor Gregson. Again. Yeah, Gregson doesn't actually deserve any of this. He's actually a decent dude.
Then Eddie, Toby, get that oil send above ya. Come on, then boy. See you later.
I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Alright, is there anything else that's still down here to take a look at? Because that's the old piece of the balloon, so...
Here's the scorching on the ground that you mentioned.
Yes, and there's what's left of the green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident.
Poor Professor Harebrain. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this.
Someone's well and truly burst his bubble, as it were. Ouch. I'm a bad person. else. They're still up there, huh? So here's the thing. If he fell from a hot air balloon and hit the ground, why is the glass broken? That's a question. Was he thrown through that glass and landed here? Was he not actually in the balloon? Was he supposed to be in the balloon? And it was supposed to fall down with him inside it, and he'd be like, wow, it worked, as he's faking it. But he was actually murdered instead? Because it looks like he was assumably stabbed, then put inside the wooden framing. And then assumingly he was supposed to fall from it, but what went inside the basket in the first place was supposed to be, I'm assuming, a wax dummy. So he was supposed to be in the balloon the whole time and fall down as if he was teleported in the middle of the air. And the original explosion was supposed to A, get rid of the wax dummy and move the teleportation beacon. But since he was dead, instead they threw him through the glass. And he landed there after the balloon had popped anyway. Okay. What a shame the symbolic landmark of the Great Exhibition had been damaged like that. Yes, unfortunately, the birdcage crashed into the most prominent position possible. As the gods giving us a warning, if you ask me. Man must travel down his own stream and not cut corners with instantaneous kinesis.
But imagine what would have happened if the birdcage had landed in a slightly different location.
Right on the crowd.
The death toll could have been far worse. So I think perhaps it was a blessing in disguise.
Well, the gods are benevolent, obviously. I did say it was a warning. Man must travel under his own steam, or next time, bird cages will rain down on all of you.
Your faith is much stronger than I realized.
Well, how do you think I passed the entrance exams for Yumi University? It wasn't by studying alone.
Ah, the Crystal Tower. I can't believe I'm seeing it at such a close proximity with my own eyes.
You've really been looking forward to the Great Exhibition, haven't you, Mr. Sato?
Oh yes, when I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck.
But here you are, back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower.
I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly.
These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out.
Oh my, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place?
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It was a little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went in order to obtain the research grant.
No. The professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
You're right about that. You never did see such a grand depiction in Japan, that's for sure. Deception in Japan.
Oh look, is that Lord Van Zeeks?
So, I didn't think we're more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Mrs. Sato?
Already?
He is the Reaper, remember? We'll do well to keep our distance, I think.
But we have permission to be here, from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything.
From the top? You mean Lord Strongheart?
Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like.
She could have been at the center of the explosion here and it wouldn't have bent her will of steel.
What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have been buckled and twisted in the blast.
And what they call a bird cage is right here in the middle. That was just here. And you can clearly see that there's hinges and flaps on the floor. It was meant to open up and drop something inside, something down. Okay.
But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. Looks as though it's designed to open.
Hey, look, just as I called it out. It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened in the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight.
I don't think there's any doubt that this is a very elaborate hoax, is there? Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All the different architecture from all corners of the world.
Does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention personally.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Japanese buildings, with their wood and paper construction, have excellent ventilation, and I've realized that British buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel.
Oh yes, I do agree with you there.
But I can't help wondering what the onion does on the roof. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions. What? Alright, useless protagonist. Absolute. Bro, come on. Half the food you're ever going to make in your life is going to have onions in it. Shut the fuck up. There's 2 guarantees that you put on all food. All food must have salt and pepper. The other one is going to be garlic and onions. if you don't... come on. These are the 4 seasonings of life here.
You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Mr. Naruhodo.
This wasn't here yesterday.
Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victims were standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
So, for me, when it comes to that, it's like cooked onions are better than just the raw onions. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, the taste of onions is still there, but they're always better when they're cooked. Because, you know, it does like the little bit of caramelization in there, so you get the nice little sweet flavor. Like, just having raw onions on things, like on burgers, always fucking, like, blew my mind. Like, why the fuck do I want this here? Like, I just don't want this. There is, however, one thing that I still haven't grown out of not liking, and that's peppers. I do not like, when I get like a Philly cheesesteak, I just want the onions. Onions and mushrooms is the good way to go. I do not want the peppers. I just do not care for this taste and smell of peppers. It's just kind of bleh. The smell more than anything. The smell makes me not like or want the taste. But you can't really taste the peppers in much things. But the smell that peppers give off when cooked, I just do not like. It's not even really bad. It's just something that I was like, eh. Just makes everything else feel a bit worse. Well, yes. Spicy things in food is fine. Yeah. Like, something being made spicy through peppers is perfectly fine. That's never going to, like, make me go, what is this? It's just like having like the chunks of like other peppers in there. Just like, I don't know. Just the smell I've just never gotten to enjoy.
It's this cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrain said in court, it's made of wood.
Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hodo?
I understand that the forensic investigation team had taken it all away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back to here when they finished their work.
But sadly, not with the body inside it.
No, that's right. I know they were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Dude. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Oh my god, please tell me it disappears. If we literally have picked up the entire birdcage and have just put it in our fucking pocket. Please, I need this to happen. Please. Don't just be like, hey, we're going to request that it's there as evidence during the trial. I hope we have literally picked it up and are now carrying this on our fucking back. Okay, it's still there. It's still there. All right, never mind. It's still there. Okay. I was going to say that. I really wanted them to just grab the whole fucking thing. Oops. Let's see. Oh, look here, Mr. Sato.
Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yes, from a height at which the balloon was flying, down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
He does one book cage. So this probably wasn't from when it was dropped from the balloon. This is probably when it was dropped from the middle of the... Yeah, you can look, but don't touch anything. I wonder if we just take the whole thing with us. Also, it wasn't me that said it. He said, Naruhodo said that he was going to take it. Hey, we're not allowed to touch it, but we might need to. And then he added it to evidence. I mean, come on. That's literally what he was doing. Don't look at me like I'm the one who said it. I just wanted him to do the crazy thing. Ugh. Least approachable man in the world winner. 10 years in a row.
Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistant stand firm behind you.
Lord Venzeeks. Dude, we went literally to his entire office the other day and you weren't this annoyed at him. Now you're like, damn, I've learned. Hey, buddy, I've learned about your tragic backstory and now I hate you more. What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently, you Nimponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Ah, well, thing is...
Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything.
And yet, you've managed to disturb me. Ah. Never mind. Stay to business then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Venzeeks about. Hey, so about your dead brother. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this.
Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try.
So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand. Lord Venzeeks? You're Nimponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a little bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Venzeeks family. But tragically, the vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? Is there more to it then? Lackluster work is very much a trademark, isn't it? Ugh, you're not too kind. Are you gonna go tar all Nimponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident?
As it happens, Lord Venzeeks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Two Spells Museum of Waxworks by any chance?
I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I was featured in one of their displays there, for public scorn. Of course the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have been exhibited, wouldn't he?
Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place, and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork? Which? Wait, you mean... Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We're very keen to see him if he's found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we've heard of in court.
Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle.
So, I was wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but,
We'd very much appreciate any more clues that you can give us.
wow. Sasato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns.
Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here in an investigation 10 years ago. Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time.
It's gonna be Shamsphere, isn't it? It's gonna be fucking Shamsphere again. Oh no, it's gonna be Shamsphere.
What?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us.
We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So, why wouldn't I show you the photograph?
What is it about Lord Van Zeeks? Something I just can't work him out at all. The photograph of Drebber has been entered into the court record.
Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you.
Yep, Susie recognizes him already too. Yep. Are you alright?
Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo?
Lord Van Zeek's apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Sasato-san can see it too.
Lord Van Zeeks? May we speak with your apprentice a moment?
With him? Why?
Kazuma-sama!
Kazuma? I don't believe it.
Your posture, your presence. It can only be. It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late.
What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know this man or something. Well,
Since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Strongheart seduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell me why, did he?
But he didn't tell you why, did he?
That man appears to be suffering from amnesia.
Yeah, classic.
Amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia?
Tomorrow, he will appear in court at my side.
What?
He's to serve as my judicial assistant, on Lord Strongheart's orders.
He'll be in court with us?
Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Alright, we all know this is gonna correct. Just all you have to do is just take the sword and hand it to him. Oh, the sword's my soul and everything, so you just give him the sword back and he won't have amnesia anymore. That's how it works. Everybody knows the sword is your soul is stored inside the sword. If you don't have a sword, well, then you ain't got no soul, so get fucked. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Sasato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama.
You'd already met that masked man, had you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, yesterday in fact, at Lord Van Zeeks' office.
I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, It means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us.
I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that.
You're going to have to leave now.
Huh?
The forensic investigation team will due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, I will cause problems. Or it will cause problems.
What sort of problems?
Foreign affairs problems.
Well, we could do without that. That sounds like a bullshit reason why you don't want us here.
Yes, I want to obscure some evidence for tomorrow so we can argue about it instead of you just knowing what it's here for. Okay? Yeah, alright, it's fine. I'm okay with that arrangement. Alright, good. Now get out of here. Alright, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mr. Sato.
Of course.
Oh my.
No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery.
Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that.
I was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere.
That's strange. You should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll have to come back again later. Alright, so in other words, no investigating here yet. We need to visit some other things first. And then we can get some more evidence here, because we're definitely going to have to inquire what the professor looked like, because my bet is we're going to... It's going to be Shamsphere again. Oh, it's just going to be Shamsphere and the guy from the fifth case of the last one as well. Oh, it's the same guy for the third time. I believe this is Dr. Seiss' laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose. And there's plenty to assault the eyes in here too.
It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so we may as well do some sightseeing, don't you think?
What a seasoned tourist you become, Mrs. Sato. We could just have a little look around, being careful not to upset any restless souls. Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. The cherry wood has been polished to a high sheen, and the intricate carving is a joy to behold. Western cabinet makers really are skilled, aren't they?
Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Naruhodo?
Mrs. Sato, can't you tell that I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope.
I'll be sure to remember that from now on. That looks like an owl and crow up there.
I know, and they haven't been twitched since we came in here.
Well, no, they wouldn't have. They're taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ugh, I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself they're just sleeping with their eyes open.
Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Duramadol on display in the office instead. I suppose this is Dr. Seiss' desk.
Ugh, I would not like to work at a place like this.
It's very tidy though, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Imagine how effectively she must work.
The lighting is poor, which is bad for the eyes, and the chemical smell can be good for you. Not to mention the skeleton watching over you as you work, which is definitely bad for the nerves.
Well, yes, those are valid concerns, I suppose.
I just can't cope about a one-eyed Duramadol watching over me, but that's all. A table instead of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, it all looks quite innocent. So why is it that when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing?
It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. Seeing the large tome that's open in the desk must make me wonder, though. How can anybody concentrate on a bookwork with all this acrid odor and chemicals in the air?
You either have to have a cast iron constitution or a really terrible sense of smell. Oh, wait, can't for that to be part of the case. Ah, well, you didn't understand it because you didn't have a smell. You can't smell anything. Oh, we got you. Yeah, the one bit of clue that we didn't know. The mortician can't smell. Those large jars seem to have pale things floating around inside them. I suppose they're fruit liquors or something. Or like a pickled umeboshi plums we make back home.
Father had jars just like that in his laboratory as well. I expect they're human organs in preservation solution, probably as examples of some rare medical condition.
Miss Sasato, are there some things in the world that's perfectly fine to never know about, ever?
Oh,
So, as I said, I'm sure they're fruit liquors or umeboshi, aren't they?
of
Course. Look at all the bottles on the shelves and the cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals.
the ones here are labeled high toxicity.
Ugh, that's worrying, because there's also nothing that looks like salt and pepper shakers in there.
Oh, yes. And they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes.
Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. Okay, well, I guess there isn't anything here yet. Wait, that's it? All we've got is 2 spells and the forensic laboratory. So maybe we are supposed to examine a few more things? Yes. The heavenly curtains in the middle of the House of Horus. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you?
The sign says it's the Madame Two-Spell Society special exhibit. It seems you have to pay extra to go inside.
I know. Can you believe that? Pay more money, as if we haven't been scared enough already.
It's not my doing, Mr. Norohodo. Oh, what a horrifying scene! A murderer caught in the grisly act.
I know. In the case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the killer.
I don't think anybody would be angry in any doubt of that, surely.
And did you know that according to the description, the bathtub on the back has no particular significance?
What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in a bathhouse peddling criminal wares.
Aha! We have a new theory. Okay, actually, I think what we're supposed to probably be doing is either we are supposed to be messing around here until Sholmes shows up again, which he might if we click on a couple things. But I think we should probably also show the picture to Dr. Hairbrain. Nothing particular to note.
This one's posture reveals his weakness.
Sorry?
The killer's stance leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him off. With a Sasato takedown, then a Sasato squash, and finally a Sasato smash.
Right.
And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Sasato slam should finish him.
A Sasato slam.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's rather hard to explain. Leave yourself open slightly and I'll demonstrate.
Absolutely not. Yeah, okay, we're probably going to be showing the picture to... Professor Hairbrain, what do you make of this?
Oh, yes. Well, that's just we need to prove my hypothesis, isn't it?
No, it's nothing to do with your hypothesis, actually.
Well, then take it away. I don't want to be bothered with anything.
Okay, so he doesn't care about the picture of the guy? Alright, whatever. The birdcage, however, you're probably interested in. Professor Hairbrain, what do you... Really? Alright, whatever, bro. So if that's not it... Okay, telling me not to do the forensic stage then. So if that's not it, is Sholmes back in his suite? No. If there was something we're supposed to do here, it would give the entire title intro again. That is one thing I've seen that they do when you need to go to a new place. Maybe it is the forensics and we just have to, I have to click a couple more things maybe? That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. I still can't believe you just happened to be on the jury, though.
I understand that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet you do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you?
Alright, so it's not here. Well, I guess back to the forensic laboratory again. Not much else to do. Unless we're supposed to go back to our place, but I figured we'd be talking to these people a bit more. Ah, okay, we're getting the book for evidence. Look at this big thick book here.
Ah, it appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh.
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems to be rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
500? They must be working really hard on dissecting corpses.
I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances. And scalpel blades can be sharpened, too.
It does seem a bit strange, alright. 500 scalpels a month? What could they possibly be using them all for? Darts. There we go. What are you doing? Ah! Sorry, we're, had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so... hey, you look suspiciously a lot like, the guy that we're investigating. You wouldn't happen to be his sister or something, would you? You also have a plus on your jacket. You clearly have a plus pin on your jacket. He's got a plus on his jacket. We don't have the card anymore, but the card had a plus on its right-hand side, which looks a lot like yours. You're related to him, aren't you? Oh, god damn it. Sorry, we had something we wanted to ask you, but you weren't here, so...
So you thought you'll snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the East, is it?
Well, what do you want? Lord Strongheart told us, you see, that it was you who examined the victim's body. Mr. Asmon's body, I mean.
So we came to ask you about your findings, on Lord Strongheart's advice.
Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. So, you want to know what the forensics investigation team determined from the examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Odie Asmon, who disappeared from the experimentation stage at Miss-Explosion, and the Mr. Asmon who appeared moments later partway up the Crystal Tower. But without question, one and the same person. That is the team's conclusion.
But that can't be right.
If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out.
Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they?
Very true, but sadly in this instance that was not the case.
The man who disappeared and the man who was subsequently reappeared was the same person. The fingerprints at the scene make that quite evident.
Ah, fingerprints.
They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system, but one day they will be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So, where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions.
Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing more of a mystery.
Well, I guess the real question you should be asking is, where are the fingerprints that you tested from? Because if he was touching the entire exhibit in the first place, like if he was around in the exhibit and he was touching things, his fingerprints could just have been there anyway. But he was definitely at the scene getting into the cage, assumably, so.
Mama, what is this?
Ah, where did she spring from? And did you just call the doctor Mama?
This is a lawyer, my dear. Oh.
Hello. To meet you. Pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense lawyer. Ryunosuke Naruhodo?
Mama?
Yes.
Can I cut this one up?
What?
I've never seen inside an
I guess she's wearing a mask, so.
I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Boring.
I think I just had a near-death experience.
Oh dear. Mr. Naruhodo, you're as pale as a corpse.
Then let's leave before I'm mistaken for one. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber.
I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months.
Yes, it's quite possible she knows something about. It's quite possible he might know something useful. You're right. We ought to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit.
Yes, Iris told me about the latest and usual adventure.
Alright, so the forensic science lady and her daughter are very suspicious at this point, obviously. Which either she's on the up and up, and it just so, he was in fact touching areas around the bird cage, and then, then he was also, his body was there, which is my guess. Like I said, I think maybe the bird cage was dropped, or he was killed beforehand and they got a waxwork figure in there. But the animation that we saw at the very beginning of the case was him walking in the cage, I think. It's kind of hard to see that again, to see if he actually did move or if he was like pushed in or whatever it was when he was set in. So we'd have to take a look at that again, but I'm just going to ignore the animation as it's not part of the evidence in the case. But I think it was the wax dummy that was put in there, and he was already dead at that time, and he was in a separate bird cage they made. So we need to find a second bird cage, I guess.
Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid they haven't got used to this place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course.
Sasato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? The other idea is that the coroner is in fact in on it, and the bird cage was dropped and hit, which was the second one that they'd made. And then when they got up there, they put the body inside of it. Or the only people who are seeing the body was actually the waxwork dummy who was there the whole time. And that's just a fake corpse that was laid up there and dropped from the balloon when it popped. And the real body was in the cage, who was killed. He was already dead, and they disposed of the body now, maybe. Or they're faffing around and swapping out the bodies. Something weird like that. But I don't think it's going to be that many moving parts. I think it's more likely that there was a fake in the machine and he was already dead. And then they just dropped the body. But we'll see. The only thing that makes it hard to answer is how do they pretend that the wax was real getting him in the cage? Unless they're going to be like Lamau puppets. Anyway. So Sato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? Eek! What's the matter?
Look, Mr. Naruhodo, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes, down to the very last detail.
Ah.
What is it?
Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself.
Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee.
Oh, yes. Hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
I must say, I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs.
You don't mean...
But yes, the mystery is solved already.
Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough.
So, as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties.
Yes.
His habitual duties? Allures. Do not disturb, huh?
God, she's so gross. So gross. Poor Sasato-san. She looked really perplexed. So, are we not clicking on him? Are we just gonna get yelled at if we do? The game's like, no, fuck you, no more clues.
We really do need to speak to Mr. Sholmes, and I am longing to say hello again. But where is he?
I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually.
Oh, what do you...
Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I. The world-famous great detective in waxwork, Herlock Sholmes. Sasato-san! Sasato-san! My most humble apologies.
I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London.
Yeah, okay, well then you... Yeah, there's no way that London leads to eternal paradise. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of questionable street food quality.
I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes?
Merely a secret identity, you understand. Though the case is largely solved now.
Largely solved?
We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume. Oh, we're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume? Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise. Or any food, as far as today for that matter. That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. So, how'd you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone?
Oh yes, it's the most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet.
This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. And as such, I was able to negotiate terms. And in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event.
Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no?
Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive.
But does that not mean... Your negotiating was entirely unnecessary?
A fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Two-Spannels at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaited my return to Baker Street, after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork?
We're in the process of trying to track somebody down.
Oh. Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Harebrain and the engineer who built the kinesis machine.
A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man.
He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts, too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on, that's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas?
I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data.
If I knew something of the man's
Appearance, at least I may be in a better position to help.
yes, Drebber's appearance.
Fortunately for you, however, presently I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find a clue, no matter how small, I shall gladly give you my thoughts on it.
Alright, well. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print?
It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek.
Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course, so looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive.
Oh, you're alright, Mr. Sholmes.
Yes, forgive me. Very interesting this. Very interesting indeed.
What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden.
Okay, yeah, definitely connected to everything else.
It didn't add anything. It just makes us know that he knows him, but still doesn't want to reveal it yet. So, Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us?
My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing gaze. What is this about?
Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain aboard the steamship, your words were very clear. So then,
let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
you told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body.
Indeed, and wherein lies the problem?
We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi.
You're quite sure?
He was wearing some sort of mask and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known all the time, Mr. Sholmes. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead.
Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere of the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all! Priceless. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo?
I could believe that as a crewman present at the time made a mistake. But not you, Mr. Sholmes.
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. A lot. I've lied a lot to you over this time. And when I say that, I mean literally a lot of times. In fact, every single time I do a fake deduction. I was literally doing that just so I could train you to take my place. Aha, that's right. This was all a lie in the first place. Everything I tell you was a lie. Get used to it, motherfucker. You're not even living in that room. I don't even own it. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
Please, Mr. Sholmes.
Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that's all I can say.
I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you? I'm surprised Sasato hasn't fucking thrown him yet. If I were her, I'd be like super fucking pissed and be like, "Nah, you're not getting away with that. Answer now. No vague posting." I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo, if you will indulge me. Oh, well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned, and I personally reinstalled it in the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Oh, yes, the Professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings. That's a special, one-time only price, you understand? What? The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruit of my labor? Oh, well, we do have a rather pressing investigation carrying out. Perhaps we could postpone? The price is very reasonable, 5 shillings. I think you'll find it well worth it.
Are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes?
Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if the seriousness or silliness.
I can never tell with you. That's the point.
Very well, it couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings.
And we're going to find out that the professor looks exactly like Mr. Drebber.
Gratefully received. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to pursue it.
Or was his brother was the professor. His brother wasn't killed by the professor. His brother was the professor. Okay, that's my guess.
So the special exhibit always behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go and see the special exhibit.
Huh. Though it's heavy curtains at last. Through its heavy curtains at last. Alright, that's my last guess. My last guess is Van Zieks' brother wasn't murdered by the professor. Van Zieks' brother was the professor. Alright, let's go. 5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped the money into his own pocket, does it?
No. We could ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills.
Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. It is what makes Britain great. Not to mention demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands, or chip-loving inspectors.
Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in this list, I think. Oh dear, I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here.
Miss Sasato, I say we turn on our heels and run straight home via a really big confectionery.
We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already.
True. Alright, the head's missing. Alright, well, that's a... Actually, now I'm looking a little more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place.
This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved.
Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there's a clue about the engineer in here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we?
Yes, we'll get to what we paid for.
Is the fear or frustration that's making Sasato-san's voice tremble?
This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks surreal.
It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat.
And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look.
Perhaps we should investigate a little more detail. No, you don't want me to look? Really? It's trying as hard as it can to not let me see the face. Alright, game, whatever. It's a plus. It must be. Alright, before we continue further, I am going to take a quick break. My glasses are bugging the fuck out of me. I gotta put my contacts in. And I'll refill my drink as well, so I'll be right back. There we go, much better. Refilled on drink, and nothing digging into my ears. Ugh. I usually like having my contacts in over my glasses because they're just more comfortable that way. Because I hate having the glasses on my face, but when you're just kind of hanging around the house, you just kind of forget to too lazy to go and put the actual contacts in. But sometimes they just bug me way too much to have them on. What's this here?
Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera.
A camera? But it's so small. British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin prints?
I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in a graveyard at night with a camera?
I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film?
Well, just borrow this for a while, I think.
We're just yoinking the camera? Alright.
By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what picture was taken.
Are you telling me you want to see what photograph the wax dummy was taking? Do you think this is the actual... Alright, well, we all know the actual answer is yes, this is actually the camera the person who spotted the original guy had. And they put a literal, real camera hanging around some waxwork dummy's neck. What's a photographic plate?
A piece of glass coated in special emulsion that reacts to the light coming through the lens. If we open the cover of the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look.
You should see for yourself, Sasada-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? So, is that in the court record now? Oh look, the cover came open.
Yes, now, there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see?
Is something wrong?
There is no plate. It's been removed.
Ah, what a pity. But I suppose, if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time. Just the waxwork isn't an actual person. So we'd never have found the photographic print in the executed convict coming back to life anyway.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course.
Poor Sasato. She looks devastated.
What a wonderful machine.
You really love contraptions like this, don't you?
Oh, yes. Anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible.
Almost irresistible, surely.
Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart.
That's worrying.
Yes, Father tells me the time the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch.
Poor Professor Mikotoba. And there's some blood.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
What is it?
On the bellows, just here. There seems to be some very dark red stains.
Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually.
Oh my.
I'm sure it's not what you're thinking.
Haha. Haha.
Details have been updated. Updated camera report. Alright, well, that'll be for later then.
And has a large shovel in his hands. Look.
Perhaps we should investigate a little more detail. Yep. Will it let us go to the face now that we got the camera? No? Okay. That's quite a large lamp the man's carrying. Or is it a lantern? That's not unlike a Japanese chochin paper lantern, actually, is it?
Lamp, lantern, kokochin. The point is, it casts very little light. To be walking alone in a graveyard at night with only this. Well, I certainly couldn't do it.
I'm not sure I could visit a graveyard at all, even in broad daylight, to be honest. Yeah, there's his black monocle. Alright, so this is the Flim Flam artist. Okay. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just...
Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. Ah!
What on earth? How can...
I don't believe it. A black monocle.
Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is...
Yes. It's Enoch Drebber.
The color of his hair is different, but it's
unmistakably him. Indeed it is. Mr. Sholmes, this man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So, then, the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tell too sweet, as Madam would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry Iris still awaits the return of Baker Street, preferably with rations. Ugh.
Do you know, though, something about this room is strange?
Strange? What do you mean?
Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not?
Indeed they are, Mrs. Sato. Do go on.
And, as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it?
I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago.
I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, every one being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound that had their throats ripped from their bodies.
Oh gosh! An enormous hound? How awful! Wow, has something to do with a Baskerville?
After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So, you mean the professor's identity... As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public because he was actually Van Zieks' brother, and no one wanted to show how an important prosecutor actually was the perpetrator of all these murders. Naturally, he was found guilty, and then summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair.
Oh.
The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life.
Came back to life?
He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlight graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat, Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen? So, this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old.
It's so horrifying.
Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he had seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he'd seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic over every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was never created here at Madame Tussauds.
I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night.
Yes, what was he up to? The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact of the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of shocking witnesses' account of the convict who had come back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale.
But why did people stop believing it?
Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave of Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been the following the execution.
No, but that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers.
That would appear to be the only logical explanation, unless, after rising from the grave alive, somebody then re-killed him. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, It's hard to believe that the incident was out-and-out lie. Oops. Shit, I didn't mean to hit that button again. Just blast through it. There we go.
This must be the killer. The fiend known as the Professor.
Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tispel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble royal blood.
The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place.
I know. It looks like you could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only I had heard that it. If only I had a head, that is.
So, the fact that he was killing nobility and people who were higher up makes me think that this is connected to, that this is connected to Strongheart. Strongheart is sick and tired of people using their money to get out of, to break the judicial system and, like, buy jurors and the judges off. So, he's probably connected somehow where they were, like, purposely killing people who were doing that. And that's his first way of, like, oh, well, they're breaking the judicial system. Well, I can just kill them, and then they can't use their money to break the system anymore. Which is why the so-called Reaper, which is probably still Strongheart, is continuing to kill anybody who gets off from Van Zieks' trials. But it's maybe he's only doing it to keep the, like, he's also probably doing it to keep the legend of the Reaper alive. Like, as long as I only do it for Barak Von Zieks, it'll be fine. But if I do it for any other prosecutions, maybe it will be off. Unsure. But definitely there's a connection between this. Perhaps you should examine it in a little more detail. Oh. By that, you mean literally only a close-up? Sure. So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor.
Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine? But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost.
Do we have to maintain such terrifying ideas, Mr. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see?
Then perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it?
That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it?
Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum.
And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason. It means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. It looks like a piece of broken glass. Hey! Here we go. Like what was inside of the birdcage that got shattered through the glass in the first place. And then they ended up putting the real body inside after removing this fake one. Yeah, okay. There you go. The Chekhov's wax museum is finally paying off.
It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than normal window glazing, I'd say.
Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from? I wonder.
I suppose it must have been made thick to increase its strength.
But why?
Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particularly wide area, such as a big building, for example.
Ah. Well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass is broken too.
You don't mean...
Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition.
But why would glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxwork's jacket?
It makes you think, doesn't it? A piece of broken glass has been entered in the court record. Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. But before that, look at the piece of glass again. Okay, no marks or anything else on it. This piece of glass is almost as thick as it is wide.
Yes, I've never seen anything like it.
If you were to compare it to a human, only Mr. Sholmes has such thick skin.
There's really no need for such a comparison, Mr. Norohodo, as you well know.
Anyway, it can only be from the Crystal Tower, surely.
Yes, I think so too. It was probably made especially to meet the demands of the great structure.
And now we discover this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence?
What blading Norodo? What you got undone?
Gina, what are you doing here?
I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be, so... Gina, not so loud in the museum.
Madame Truspells will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern.
I still have some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared.
You should try being the one on the other end of the gun. The other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina?
What brings me here? What you think? We found it. We found that Dodger Cove's workshop.
What? You found Drebber's workshop?
Yup. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then, see you there.
You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place. In the exhibit over there.
Oh dear. Someone is feeling sorry for himself.
Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have to pay more monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that. I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall have it counted at once. On your dime, by the way. No offer to share the costs from Mr. Sholmes, then.
I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Right on. Let's go. (23rd October), Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's some arrows over there too and everything. And some gas, probably where it stored the gas for the balloons. That looks like...
Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Indeed, it would appear so. Though only a prototype, naturally.
Ah, so you got here then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You really worked miracles. It's Toby here who's the miracle worker. Ruff.
Oh, I thought you would show up before long. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. It looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips.
So, Inspector, is there any sign of the engineer?
Sadly not. We ain't find a soul in here.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us a chance to investigate.
According to what Dina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue you all turned up. I wouldn't want to say, go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I?
Thank you.
Anyway, if you're hoping to snoop around here, I'll get cracking. Lord Van Zeeks and the forensic investigation team are on their way as we speak.
Them again.
I imagine you've got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to loyal types.
Right. So then, my dear fellow, let's turn this place upside down once we have the chance.
And you, Sholmes?
Pardon?
They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers.
Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than
An inconspicuous waxwork model. Right then. Let's see what we could find in here. Well, first off, arrows, obviously. This is a European-style quiver of arrows with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose?
Crossbow bolts these, and just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the expedition grounds.
In other words,
Yup, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, the old scam.
details of crossbow and updating the record. Updated crossbow report. Ah, this appears to be the most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking black back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a couple times with that, your aches and pains would go away. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine. Thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than the conjuring tricks.
I couldn't agree more, my dear madam.
And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not gonna let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite mysterious at times. The science trophy has been entered in the court record. There's a little metal plaque here, look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. It seems rather iconic, doesn't it? Or ironic, doesn't it? But clearly Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Yeah, he built even the fake thing with fake bullshit on it too. Like, he's got at least something. Can't wait to find out that the top of this trophy just pops off. Aha, but what if you open the trophy? What on earth is this? An airplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies. Is that how the trick will be described, is it? Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, this model is, yes, but a real airplane would actually fly high in the sky. While suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course. Because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in midair unsupported. So, to you, the solution is ever taller towers? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the crown of the government. No, it's not. They removed that shit. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices or deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose chains dropping on the floor, not even a bone for Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Mrs. Sato. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it.
There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here.
With permission, Inspector, I could have that lock open in less than a minute.
Well, you don't have permission, and no one else is giving it to you.
Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that. Well, there is no sound of anybody on the other side. So, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger.
Thud.
Oh. Is something wrong, Mr. Sato? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, do you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby? Ruff, ruff.
Right, mind the grease.
Thud, thud, thud.
Whoever's in there, open up. It's Scotland Yard.
Clomp, 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 clomp.
Oh my, someone is in there.
Oh, there's rotten bleeding luck.
My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were continents, I could unlock that door in less than a minute.
Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door.
Click. There. You may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for?
Nothing for it, suppose. This is an emergency.
There's a strong possibility that beyond this door, engineering is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes.
It's just bomb.
Also, there's footprints on the ceiling. What happened here? Why is everything upside down?
Rats! There ain't no one in there after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard the noises.
Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away.
But there's only one door into this room.
And no windows that could offer an escape route. And those skylands are too high. What is that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling?
Blow me. What have we here then?
Just ignoring the dynamite?
Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what?
To that Professor Hairbrain's brainy scheme, isn't it? Blimey, if we had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal.
There is something of great interest here too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. Huh?
We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation teams arrives too.
That's a really lovely model. It looks just like a real flying balloon.
I think it's probably staying aloft in the same principle as a full-size balloon, using gas.
A green flying balloon. It does have the hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be that the whole thing was planned here in his very workshop? There's also a couple plaques missing off. I don't know if they're on the floor or if someone took them off the wall. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints.
Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be here.
Isn't there a Sasato shoot-up or something? Like a Sasato takedown, I mean?
No Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo.
That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose.
Almost every piece of furniture is upside down.
Even Mr. Sholm's suite isn't ever in this much of a mess.
You're in no position to comment on mess, Mr. Naruhodo.
But I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se, as that everything is literally upside down.
But why?
Because the whole room can tilt. Probably. That used to be the ceiling. This entire thing turns to the left. The whole room flips upside down. I don't know. Well, yeah, we'll look at the bomb later, alright? Sometimes you just don't know when to investigate a bomb. That's also why this is like a big ass safe that's just screwed in the ground. That's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although, if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose.
It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhanded trick, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose.
I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever is inside must be very important.
Alright, well, I think... no, that's not new. Nope. Alright, only one thing left. Alright, what's this bomb? Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of fixed cigars wrapped in a large... Ah! Mrs. Sato, what's the matter?
That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What did you say?
A time bomb.
Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? Eh? No. You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment.
Huh? You don't know nothing, do you, Odo?
You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? Invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance.
Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it?
I see. So that's it. Huh?
Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen the heart of the matter?
There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I am fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself.
Oh, but how could you know?
And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor here is without question a completely genuine.
Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything.
It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Oh,
Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
Not too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mr. Sato.
Oh, yes. I'll be delighted.
So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Topic 1. Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that this room is completely disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down to the floor.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that?
Oh, yeah, the combinations on the bottom of the chair. Lol. Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at least succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the earth.
For the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in the whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I, too, was incredulous at first. However, my conviction is that my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to the one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is the timing device that controls the gravity directional switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically, and the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the real reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we find this room. The direction of which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber, before being restored to normality by an automatic fashion sometime later by the timing device. I have witnessed precisely the scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Conclusion, because gravity was reversed. Topic 2, the missing engineer. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how it was possible that there were footprints all the way up there on the ceiling. A question whose answer would be lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's aim was so singular to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, except in the skylight, that is. Ah. By inverting the gravity in here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is so very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was so sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, and to escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely into the ceiling, which explains how Drebber was able to escape his room before our arrival. You're being absolutely insane right now, Sholmes. Like, some of your other deductions were like, alright, kinda off, but not that bad. This one's fucking wild. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Oh. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? This anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with the man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth, however improbable it may seem. Ha! It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy.
Yes, I have a feeling I read it something like that. Mrs. Saddle lent me once.
Objection!
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, the spell's broken at last.
The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. In lonely coils near the wall.
But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall?
Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find, do ropes. As evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we face in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of the rope.
I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth.
Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly, before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready then, let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. It's plain to see that this room was in complete disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down to the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that?
Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at least succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed and then suddenly restored to normal.
Goodness!
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in the whole business.
I think gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation.
But the man himself admitted it was scientific impossibility, so...
Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once.
Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mrs. Sato.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he?
While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, let's see if the examining the topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing.
Oh, can I not tilt it back to the code? Really? I'm not allowed to tip it back to the code?
Oh, look, it's an upright vase. Wouldn't it be flipped? Well, well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure.
Ah, look at that.
I know. That slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say?
To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deep impression on me.
Yeah, it's still upright. I'm assuming this is the correct answer then?
Take that!
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in the whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. And as you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassailable slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe that has nothing affixed to it to the floor, and it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss.
Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes.
But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Now that we know the contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility.
You don't say.
Someone deliberately overturned every piece of furniture in here.
Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that?
Quite, and naturally there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been returned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device.
He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he?
I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong.
Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all the furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason.
I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though.
Well, let's look around and see if the answer shows itself.
What? Look, there's something written on the underside of this.
Oh yes, safe 432582.
Safe? As in safe and secure? As in secure lockable box?
As a secure lockable box, I think.
Admittedly more likely.
Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes.
So you mean this number would let us open it?
I wonder why it's written here, though.
Take that!
Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination.
Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not?
Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noticed the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book, just in case.
That's right. For people who are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information.
Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think.
And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo?
When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written in the number in and had to turn my room upside down trying to find it.
That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down.
Not if you've always note things down in the same place.
I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine it slipped the ticket into, and
thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is a very similar scenario to currently unfolding in this room.
Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he had written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, lending to the state in which he now finds the room.
Yes, Mr. Drebber overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate combination code that would unlock the safe.
Except it wasn't Drebber, it was somebody else who just didn't know where it was. Flip furniture to find the safe combination.
Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads.
Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling?
A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight.
Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can explain it, then how did the footprints get here?
Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just never become harder to solve.
I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed.
It was a minute ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place.
Well, I suppose we could simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail.
Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what got us into these situations in the first place.
There's also a shoe up there too.
It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look!
Oh yes, there are more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there to become lodged, do you think?
If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though?
Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid.
Alright, well. This is a gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it's helium that's keeping it up.
A green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell at me?
If you can see, there are footprints on this balloon too, look.
Oh, yes. Oh, surely that's a clue, isn't it? Though what it tells us, I'm not sure. I mean, it's gotta be that, right?
Take that!
This is a nearby balloon. Not the balloon? Being able to fly freely in the sky has been mankind's dream for centuries. And of course, the balloon is the invention that made all that dream come true. Mr. Drebber, clearly a man of dreams, used the balloon to ascend to the ceiling and plant his feet on the roof. I take no pleasure in delivering the bad news, but the undeniable truth is, it's clearly too small. What? I knew you were going to say that. My dear fellow, then you are twice the fool. If people could fly in such small balloons, why would anybody ever manufacture larger ones? I despair of your lack of common sense at times, Mr. Naruhodo. So, fine, it's the fucking shoe on top of the balloon. Oh well. Ugh, that really hurts coming from you. Yeah, I know, you don't have to make me sit through more dialogue. Let me just get back to choosing, please. I'm not even gonna read this. Is it the shoe?
Take that!
It's the shoe, okay. They could have made both of those the same thing, but whatever. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data. Huh?
It was a piece of green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene.
And inside the green balloon, that Master Gotts claimed he saw above the stage when the incident occurred. Was the second birdcage the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception?
You mean to say?
If we assume the balloon is here as a model of the one you used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Ah! Most probably Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by sealing it with a shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of the lofty heights.
Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside.
You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than a rope?
Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope.
Alright, I have to admit that was clever. So, we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to the ground of us?
Which is much easier said than done, I feel. And could take a very long time as well.
True. Perhaps we need a bit more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we?
Take that!
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow?
That we found at the scene, in fact.
And in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? The head of the killer. Ah! What the? Oh, a waxwork? Indeed it is. Ah, so Griffith was hidden inside there. Okay.
Indeed it is, a waxwork head inside a small metal mask. A mask that is shut tight as fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock.
So we can't see the face inside, that means.
Just a moment, this is the head of a waxwork model. Does that mean... Oh my goodness.
I see you've joined the dots, Mr. Sato. Excellent. Ah, of course. The headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that was largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing.
Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel's will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have surmised, is the head of the infamous Professor.
Yes.
But why is it here?
This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the Professor from Madame Tuspel's, as returning it, Psalms Tate, earlier, was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. The waxwork head has been added to the court record. And this lock still seems to be just so suddenly unimpenetrable that we still can't see the actual face of the killer. I wonder who it will be. I was like, I'm gonna go close a couple windows. I'll be right back. It was warm before, but I think the temps dropped back into the 50s again. I gotta close everything up. And closed. Let's see. Before we read his. This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? There's definitely no way you could remove the mask yourself if it was put on you.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know. It's starting to make me livid, actually.
Mr. Naruhodo, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. It would be utterly helpless.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right. Sorry. Well, it appears our nautical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of the venture to open up the safe, which he is currently hidden inside of.
The architect?
You mean Mr. Drebber? It seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously, the man still must be here in the room.
What?
And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we made doing together this deduction, Enoch Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the safe. Oops. Look at all that mess in front of the safe.
Yes.
And accounting ledgers, almost as if somebody was in a hurry to empty the contents of the safe, in fact.
What?
Take that!
Before we gain access to the back room, we heard noises from in here, which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at the point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. And pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process, from which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle.
Deduction complete.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 1.
432582.
I knew that. All right, then here goes. He's literally just hiding in there.
God, what do I do for his voice now? Oh, there's so many voices in this case. I don't even know what to go back to.
You found me. Okay. They spent all the animation budget on this one fucking guy.
Oh, and sir, Mr. Enoch Rebel, I presume.
Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Harebrain with the bogus machine you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Two Spells as well.
Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions, I am too busy popping and locking. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first.
Deactivate?
Your parcel?
I refer, of course, to the time bomb I left in most prominent position.
Ah,
Ah, I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then?
no! Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already.
I got 1 foot in the grave already.
Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they?
Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance of an anti-gravity device is clearly really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist.
Phew. I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. What on earth happened in here?
You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems.
Yeah, well, be giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Rebel.
What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt.
Whistling?
Ah, that would have been me.
Oh,
For some reason, I woke to the fine fettle today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips.
Clearly I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down.
We also found a rope over by the wall.
Yes, I had hoped to exit to the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe.
And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. That is a sufficiently evil grin. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe, having first set this parcel ticking.
Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police.
Got to that wish, have you? Holding right beside a ticking time bomb.
Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it.
So in fact, the safe was the only safe place.
Precisely.
But once you climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again.
I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within.
Ah, so it is.
I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans.
Do you mean to say you were planning to blow this all up?
No. That was unforeseen.
What do you mean?
Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet.
Ah,
I calculated the time required to retreat to be a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But you seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works.
is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I think we have a fairly good idea what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've been evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to.
That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection, but
That's enough!
What's going on in here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Oh, yes, well... Dr. Scythe again. So the forensic investigation team is here.
And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you would be finished. You lot, leave at once.
My dear madam, there's no need for such threatening tone, I assure you. After all, there's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe?
Hello, Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You
Get out.
But of course, we'll show ourselves at the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for the day. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands.
I said get out, now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson.
Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb sitting here that is slot disarmed. Inspector? Something giving you a chuckle, has it?
Ah, So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes. You did disarm that one.
Eh? What are you? That one? You mean?
Yeah.
Well, add 2 more cops to his body count, I guess. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all of its secrets were blown away forever. To be continued next time, because good for the day. Good spot to end it after another 3+ hour stream. So we're gonna save here, and we're gonna pick up with the next part, assumably the last part of the trial, unless there's like one extra part afterwards. But this has been the second investigation, so assumably there's gonna be probably 2 parts of a trial. The first part a recess, and then the next one as we and then we finish everything off. So this is what I'll be ending today. There probably won't be another stream today. Unsure. Maybe I'll do Nax. Maybe I'll stream Nax. I don't know. I streamed the Blackwing Lair just as a fun thing to do. Probably wasn't planning on actually streaming any more World of Warcraft at all, but maybe I'll show off a Nax. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. If I feel like it, I will. But yeah, that's more the Great Ace Attorney. I will be back again tomorrow during the day, I believe. I'm pretty sure I don't have anything during the day. So I'll be back tomorrow during the day, and we'll finish the case. I'll make sure to start at an early enough time, or even if it's like 4 hours or so, I'll have plenty of time. But anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll continue the episode 3 of the Great Ace Attorney Part 2 tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.